and there was a teammate that he's left-footed. So he usually don't make a cross with his right foot, you know. So I see him making all the movement, so he gonna cross with the right foot. But I say, no chance, he gonna cross with his right foot.
Yeah.
And he surprised me with a great cross. And when I see that ball there in the air, I jump between around 3 players, and I scored that goal. When I see that ball get in, man, it was a moment of only joy, a moment that my mind was in blank. I didn't know how to celebrate. I just went running around like crazy.
Yeah, I remember. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the 2020 podcast, bringing clarity to business, entrepreneurship, and life. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me again. It's been a little while, took a little bit of a hiatus, crazy times, obviously, with COVID, with all the political and social things going on. I wanted to really take some time to sit back and soak that in. And on top of that, reopening our offices and getting super busy with that. So I wanted to focus on the really important things, but I love doing this, creating content. I have a bunch of interviews that I have saved up that we recorded during COVID that I'm very excited to bring to you. And in particular, today's episode, I'm super excited about. It is an interview with Kendall Waston, who is a professional soccer player or football player, depending on where you are in the world. And he plays in the MLS. He used to be the captain of our very own Vancouver Whitecaps and is now the captain of FC Cincinnati. And I wanted to present this episode this week in celebration of everything reopening, and in particular sports starting back up, and more specifically the MLS kicking off again this week. And there's a lot of amazing information that Kendall shares. You may be wondering what a sports star or an athlete has to do with business, entrepreneurship, or life. But of course, we know to reach a certain level in sports, you have to have a certain type of mindset and work ethic. And Kendall shares a lot about what he's gone through growing up, becoming a soccer player, a professional soccer player, his experiences in scoring one of the biggest goals for his country on an international stage. And then, you know, the struggles and the mindset that was required to get there. And I think anybody who's listening, whether you're in the medical field or you're a business professional or you're an athlete, there's a lot of amazing takeaways from what Kendall shares. And he's just an all-around amazing, fun guy. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Once again, this is an IG Live conversation that I did with Kendall Waston, professional soccer player. If you love it, please share it, take a screenshot, tag me and tag Kendall. Let us know what you took away from this conversation. Thanks again, guys. Enjoy it. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for taking the time to do this. You know, we've been in touch, and I love your energy, and I really wanted more people, to see you and learn from you a little bit. So thank you.
My pleasure, my friend.
And I expect there's probably going to be a bunch of people coming on and commenting in Spanish, so you might have to translate a couple of those for me.
Yeah.
I'll try my best to, but you know, my Spanish is not very good. Maybe you can teach me a couple of words before we finish up here today. You could.
Okay, you can say hello would be hola.
Hola. Okay, that's an easy one. All right.
Another easy one is, okay, thank you would be gracias.
Gracias. Okay, I know that one. Do you say con gusto? Do you say that like with pleasure, or is that like a thing you say? Like, is that
you can say con mucho gusto. Yes.
Con mucho gusto. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, mucho gracias to you, my friend, for doing this. Thank you very much. So, you know, what I do is I have my podcast, and I like to now, especially because we can't see each other in person, I like to do this via Instagram, and then I keep the audio and we'll use it. But mainly, you know, I like to interview successful people and like to share their stories so people in my own industry can learn. Because, you know, for you to become a professional football player is not something easy to do, of course. I'd like to learn a little bit about what you did, how you got there, and you know, we can learn from you a little bit. For anybody here who's in on the call and is not familiar, Kendall is a professional soccer player, football player, and he now is with FC. Is it FC Cincinnati or Cincinnati
Correct.
FC?
Yeah, FC Cincinnati.
FC Cincinnati, but previously was captain of the Vancouver Whitecaps, and huge fan favorite. We all loved having Kendall here. Always seeing that big smile on the pitch and supporting that back line. So we miss you here in Vancouver, that's for sure, my man. And but we're still happy to see you succeeding in another city. But on top of playing pro soccer here in North America, Kendall plays on the international level for his home country, Costa Rica, and has played in the World Cup, the most recent in 2018. And so I'm going to ask you a little bit about that at some point. But more, right. I want to start with kind of the early days. Kendall, if you could tell me, growing up in Costa Rica, playing soccer, what was that experience like? Were you playing very intense, or were you playing more for fun? And how did that come around?
Yeah, usually you always start like for the fun part.
Yeah.
As the younger you are, you only think to enjoy and to have a nice time, you know? So after like, when I was at the age of 15 years old, it was when I went to play with my national team, the under 70 process. So there was like the time you was thinking in the future, like, oh yes, I want to be a pro. I want to get to a certain level. I want to be in the newspaper, so make my family watch me on TV. So that was the age when I was like thinking really seriously about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And actually, that was going to be my next question. First, I just want to say hi to a couple people who've joined in here.
Yeah.
Chris Treminder, and I know there's lots of your fans joining in on the convo. So everybody, thank you. I wanted to ask you what age it was when you started to feel like, okay, I'm on to something here. I want to be a pro. I got to step it up. So age 15, that's when you noticed, or even a bit earlier?
No, I didn't like. It's not like when I noticed it. It was when I have like that passion or that determination. You know that, okay, I want to just chase that dream. Because, for example, I used to have some friends that they live in my hometown, and they was older than I. So they was playing already, either pro or they was almost there. So I was like, wow, yes, if they can do it, I could do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then when did you first begin to play pro in Costa Rica?
I was at that age of 19.
19. Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you come to North America? How long ago was that?
2014 was the first time when I arrived to Vancouver.
That's awesome. Yeah. By that time, you were already a celebrity back home, right? And I remember asking you, I'd love for you to kind of share kind of what that feels like, especially now after the World Cup and everything that happened around that time. But what does it feel like when you do go back to Costa Rica, when you're out and about? What's that experience like now?
Oh, it's obviously people recognize you more. And like playing with your national team and having certain years in this career, like in my country, is the #1 sport. So everybody is just watching soccer or football the entire day or entire moment. So they recognize you really well. So like when you go to the shopping malls or restaurant, there's people like they want to either have an autograph or take a picture with you.
Yeah, they want to do a selfie. Do everybody come up and try and do a selfie with you?
Yes, now with this selfie thing, man, everybody wants selfie.
How do you approach that? Like, are you, you can share as much as you want, but how, if you have a lot of people coming up to you, do you like to just sort of take the time to give everybody a picture? Or
yes. I don't like to be, how can you say, disrespectful or arrogant, because I was young. So I remember when I used to have my role models, like I would like or love to be beside them, to talk to them, or either have a handshake, anything, So now that I am in this position, obviously I understand them, and my natural thing is just to be, the kindest person in that moment.
That's amazing. That's very kind of you and very generous of you, because I know obviously a lot of celebrities, athletes don't take as much time and don't have quite as much respect. So that's very nice. You mentioned role models, and I wanted to ask you this anyway, is who were yours? So growing up as a football player, who were you looking up to when you were 5 years old, 10 years old, at that age, young age? Who were you looking up to?
Yeah, in my hometown there was one player that his name is Reynaldo Parks. So he was the one that was having a lot of success in that moment. So I was like, well, he was a defender as well. And he was playing overseas, so I was like, "Oh man, this player is great." And I used to see him walking around in the beach and those things. So when I was growing up, even you usually change,
Yeah.
And after I was looking at other defenders or even a forward like Didier Drogba. So it was like the one I used to watch and play even in the video games with.
Oh yeah. I mean, Drogba was very, very good. I mean, I know I was a fan of his as well for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So when did you decide that you were going to be a defender? Was that decided early when you were young?
When I was young, that was my starting position. So I don't know why when the game we was down in the score, they usually just tell me to go forward, to try, because I was the tallest one always.
Yeah. Try and get the header on the free kick.
Trying to get a header, anything around there.
Yeah.
But always like my passion was like defend. I enjoy defending. So after like during the years, there was times I changed like the position, but it wasn't that passion there. Like the fire was always in the back line.
That's good. So you had a passion for that position. That's awesome. And you could see, obviously, being a big man, you fit that role anyway, right? Center back, you're the guy that everybody wants to have on that last line. So that's awesome. Wanted to ask you a couple more sort of serious questions about being a pro athlete, in particular being the captain of the team, right? And what does that entail? What's the responsibility? What do you feel like your duty is as the captain? If you can just kind of tell me, and then maybe I'll have a couple more questions on that.
No problem. Yeah, I think like you always have to be like that role model or trying to set the example, at every single thing, because you have a lot of eyes on you. And I'm a person that I'm not a loud person. I'm not a guy that speak a lot, but I just like to I rather they follow me by example than what I say. Obviously it's always good to say words and be talking around, but for me the priority is that if a person don't show what they preach, it makes no sense.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah, lead by example.
Yeah, so obviously being on time, and when you work at a high intensity, everybody have their days, good and bad days, but that don't mean that you're gonna give up.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's a lesson that can be transferred into business or whatever you want to call it, right? Of course, leading by example, showing people how to work versus telling them. And can you tell me about some times when you had to talk? Like you have some people who are maybe in a bad mood or not having a good time, maybe players not doing too well. Do you take that responsibility to go talk to them?
Yeah, like I usually try to find the moment that I think they are proper. Because sometimes you are in a stress moment and everybody's talking blah blah blah, and I don't want to be more of the blah blah blah. So I'm trying to find like the exact moment, or just taking a person or a player, teammate, whatever, apart and try to talk to him like one-on-one. And because you cannot talk to everyone, every individual the same way.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody have like their weaknesses, the way you talk to them, you can be harder to one than the other.
Yeah.
So just knowing the personalities is a easier way to get to them the way you want it.
And what do you think is your coaching style? How do you like to be coached? Do you like somebody being hard on you, or do you like somebody
no
being
problem, yes. No. I don't care if they want to be hard on me, because I always have the mindset that if somebody is hard on you, it's because they want the best from you. because if they don't tell me nothing, it's because they don't care about me. So I rather they be on top of me, screaming at me and trying to make me do the things properly or perfect.
That's
than
awesome.
Rather being quiet and don't tell me nothing or correct me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really actually really important advice for people out there in general, right? If it's much better to have someone being hard on you if you know they're trying to help you be better, versus someone just quietly letting you get worse or not get better, right? It makes sense. I wanted to ask you about your time in Vancouver. How many years were you here?
I was 5 years.
5 years.
5 seasons, yes.
What was your favorite thing about Vancouver?
Favorite thing? There's many favorite things. Man, like
2 or 3 things if you can think of it.
Let's talk about in two different lines, soccer and the other like personal side. Like personal side would be like spending with the family, the city, the people, that they are so nice, so humble, they are so kind, the lifestyle. Oh man, so many things, and in soccer wise, I think like the fans in Vancouver was great. They are great. I had a great time when I was there. The teammates that I had was awesome. So I usually talk with my wife, like Vancouver is one of those places that you say, hey, I will go and live with no doubt. The only thing is that it's so expensive, but
100%.
Yeah, but you can realize and appreciate it why it is so expensive, because you have the other things, the other great things about the city that okay, you are in an expensive city because you have all of these good things,
That's good to hear, because it is very expensive.
Yes.
But it is consistently kind of ranked as being one of the better cities, or whatever you want to call it, right?
The best cities, yeah.
It's nice to hear that from somebody who's come here, from somewhere else, and you feel that way, you like it.
Sorry to interrupt. For example, the time I was there, I lost my phone 3 or 4 times. And the 4 times, they return it. So I was awesome. Like, what is this? People sending me email that, I have your phone, can we meet up here? I say, wow, yes, only in Vancouver.
Yeah, wow. Did they know that it was your phone? Or did they
no idea.
That's
no
amazing.
Idea. Yeah.
Good. That's good. Good job, Vancouver. That's good. If those people give us a good name, that's good. And you've traveled obviously a lot. Let's just say within North America, because I know in other countries it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
In North America, when you're playing soccer, what's the loudest stadium, like the craziest fans?
Oh, the craziest fans that now obviously Atlanta.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Atlanta, but Seattle, Portland, for me, like Portland, KZ are one of the loudest fans.
That's surprising. I didn't know that those cities really had a big, football fan base. So it's cool to see that.
Like in Kansas, like they're shouting, screaming, or cheering the entire game from the start until the end. So that is really nice.
How does that compare to Costa Rica?
It's different, because, for example, here you have the organization. People are more polite. Or more, but there you have the both things, and everybody's screaming against each other, or obviously they're cheering for your team and screaming, but there's a part that you have, like, for example, like my old team in Costa Rica named Saprissa, they have like the ultras. So those guys are always cheering the entire game and making the crowd pump up.
It's kind of like the Southsiders here, right?
Yeah, correct. So it's different, but I think like the passion, what I feel, the passion in my country is more, but it's not saying like here they don't have no passion. No, it's just a different way that how they live it.
Makes sense. I mean, you can imagine the passion is just different in the country in general. But
Yeah.
in Costa Rica, like you said, football is number one. Here, it's not number one, and so I feel like it's unfortunately. I'm a big soccer fan, football fan. I've grown up playing my whole life, so when I go to a game, it's a very different feeling for me compared to some of the others. But I'm glad that the crowd is growing, or our fan base is growing here in Vancouver. Again, thanks to someone like yourself. You know, you're bringing people in. What's it like in Cincinnati? Because Cincinnati is a new team, is that right? This is only their second
the new team, but they surprised me a lot because they had they was always having a full crowd from when they was in USL. That's awesome. Now in MLS, man, they've been amazing. Like with us from last year, even that we didn't make a great season, they always support us until the end, no matter what. So that really surprised me a lot. And the passion that they have, like, wow, is so nice.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear. I wanted to ask you a bit about life of a sort of a professional athlete in general. So when the season is happening, what does a day-to-day look like for you? What are you doing maybe on a practice day or a game day? What's the schedule like?
Normally, like now with my son, I'm going to kindergarten. We wake up around 6:45. I'm trying to wake him up. It takes a while. And we just get ready, make him have his breakfast. So I take him to his school at 7:50. Okay, after leaving, I go straight to my training ground.
Oh, okay.
So I have to be there before 9 a.m. And we usually practice around 10:30. We get out. We have our lunch over there. So usually I get home until 3. So my wife, she been doing a lot of things as well. She go to the gym, so I go and pick her up. And after we go and pick up my son, come home, and he practice, for example, 2 times a week with his soccer team. So we have to take him as well. So we have our own time. Especially at night is when you have your free time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So usually it's like that. Like in game days, what I like is, especially when the games are around 5 p.m. or 3:30, we wake up like around 10 to have a nice sleep. So we have a kind of brunch. You know, I have a rest and watch the videos and try to have a rollout, just to keep my body like in tone,
right? Yeah,
and just being focused for the game day.
That's awesome. And do you have like trainer, like somebody who tells you what to eat, and obviously you have somebody physical trainer, right, for keeping in shape. But what about for food and for sleep? Do you have somebody who helps you with that kind of stuff too?
Last year we used to have a nutritionist. Like she used to help us a lot. This year we don't have none yet. Because she went to another city. But now, you know, everybody know what they can eat and can't eat, you know, so you always try to eat healthy and try to have your sleep, because you want to perform. Every single day you are in a competition and nobody want to lose their spot.
Yeah, 100%. So when you say you're in a competition, you mean for your spot on the team?
Correct.
Not just in a competition against the other team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't really think about it that way, right? But you have to compete for your spot every day.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you about World Cup, and I think I already know the answer, but to lead up, I want to know, what is your absolute favorite moment so far as a football player?
Well, the goal that I scored that helped us to qualify to the World Cup.
Yeah,
that is the number one goal that I ever made.
Tell me about that moment. Can you set that up for people who don't know what happened there?
Yeah, for sure. I have it clear.
Tell me the whole story. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we was losing 1-0 at home against Honduras. So at the end of the game, it was 86 minutes of the game. So the coach, he told me, okay, Kendall, go forward.
Just like when you were a kid, right?
Correct. Just like those moments. So I remember two teammates, they was fighting a ball in the line, and there was a teammate that he's left-footed. So he usually don't make a cross with his right foot, you know. So I see him making all the movement, so he gonna cross with that right foot. But I say no chance. He gonna cross with his right foot.
Yeah.
And he surprised me with a great cross. And when I see that ball there in the air, I jump between around three players, and I scored that goal. When I see that ball get in, man, it was a moment of only joy, a moment that my mind was in blank. I didn't know how to celebrate. I just went running around like crazy.
I remember.
Yeah, the people in the stands, they was jumping, hugging each other. People was crying. So it was a moment that I never gonna get out of my mind.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that was in Costa Rica, right?
In Costa Rica.
Yeah, so you had your own country backing you in that moment.
And it was a special moment because that day I was having my anniversary with my wife.
Oh wow! Look at that.
So she was in Vancouver like 4 days before.
Yeah.
Right. That game was to be a Friday, but they delayed the game because we was having a storm. So they canceled the game because there was a lot of rain, and in Costa Rica it was a crazy time. People suffering with floods.
Oh, I
and
see.
Those things. So a lot of people were having a hard time.
Yeah.
So we was thinking, if we qualify, we could make these people happy.
Yeah.
Under their suffering, you know. So was like a lot of emotions going in that day, especially for me because my wife, she was like, "Oh, Kendall, no, I'm gonna see you on TV," and I say, "Babe, you know what? You should come because 4 years before I didn't went to the World Cup, and she was covering my back, always supporting me. So this time I say, no, if we qualify, I need you here because you deserve it as well."
Yeah. That's awesome.
So she fly the day before, and man, that day at the end of the game, when everybody can jump in the field, running around, celebrating, I saw her and I say, "Happy anniversary."
Excellent. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's a nice anniversary present. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
That's
for both
awesome.
of us.
For both of you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then you went to the World Cup. And what was that like, being in that kind of, experience?
Yeah, it was a nice experience. Just heading there I was taking my GoPro, recording every single thing when we get in the airplane, taking the bus, every single thing. So I didn't want no moment bypass me. I want to have every single detail, and like just being there in Russia was like, wow, yes, I did it. Okay, yes, yeah. I'm living like the dream that I fight a long time ago. So I'm here, and now it's time to enjoy.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, that's great. So I want to ask you, we'll get close to wrapping up. I really appreciate you doing this, but there's always a couple of questions I like to ask everybody, every guest that I have come on here. And the number one is, if you can, let's say we could go in a time machine and we could go back in time. And I want you to think about a time maybe that you had some struggle, or it was a difficult time for you. What advice would you give yourself at that time? And if you could share that advice with us.
What advice would be like, keep being patient, fight for what you want, because many times, or the majority of the times, things are not going to come for free. You have to chase it. So in difficult times is when you see your real character and who you are and what you can chase upon that. Because when you are in your comfort zone, everything is good. But when you have difficulties, you're going to see who are your real person.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Very good advice. And the last question that I like to ask is, with everything that you've accomplished, professional athlete, World Cup, all of these things, how much of all of this success would you say is due to luck, and how much is due to hard work?
I don't, personally, I don't believe in luck. I believe in God, so I think like everything happened for a reason. You make good or bad decisions, so that would change your destiny,
Right. Yeah.
So, but I think like hard work and determination, you can accomplish things instead of luck. Because if you think of luck, well, you're gonna live the life to see what happens, and you don't know what's gonna happen. But if you have like determination and hard work, you are focusing at some goal. If you get it, you get it because you have the hard work. If you don't get it, at least you make everything possible to get there, and you learn from it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Excellent. Hi, Priscilla. Thanks for joining the call. Awesome. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up? Any advice that you want to give people? Anything you want to say to your fans or the audience?
Yeah, well, I would like, especially in this moment of quarantine and with this virus, everybody staying at home, trying to be safe. Like this is a wake-up call for all of us, no matter where are you or whatever, because it's like a changing time for everyone. And this is like, okay, we have to appreciate what we really love at home, what we really have, our family or whatever you love, to really appreciate that, because once it taken away, you're gonna miss it. So let's appreciate what we have.
That's beautiful advice, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So everybody who's watching, I know a lot of these people are fans of yours already, but anybody who isn't, make sure you follow Kendall. And when the MLS is back on, make sure you follow FC Cincinnati. Kendall, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for everything you did in Vancouver.
And your family, we really are grateful with you, thankful for your support and the glasses.
Yeah.
They're awesome, my friend.
Thank you.
We love them. But what we love more about it is that you guys help so many kids, so many people cause this,
Yeah.
So this is blessing a lot of people beyond this.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your support, man. And Pam says hello. She loves you guys, of course.
Thank you so much.
We hope one day we get to see you guys in person again sometime soon.
For sure, we're gonna go someday, somehow.
You gotta come back.
So
you bet.
So we're gonna be there, man.
Awesome, brother. You take care. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and give my love to Priscilla and Kasek. All right.
Perfect.
Take care, brother.
See you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so there it is. That's the conversation that I had with Kendall Waston on IG Live a few weeks back. I hope you loved it. Again, if you did, please do share it. Tag myself and tag Kendall. Let us know what you loved about it. And I'll see you back next week with another episode. Thanks again, guys.